Hello, and welcome to the Wayward Skein podcast. This is episode 9. I'm Lynn, also known as Toll Baby on Ravelry, Instagram, pretty much everywhere. That's just the username I use everywhere. Sorry, I'm trying to train myself to look right up at the camera because I've noticed that since I got the new camera, yay! Thank you, Rob. Every time I put my head down, there's really a lot of glare off my glasses from the computer screen. So I'm trying not to put my head down too much so that you guys don't see the computer screen instead of my face. So hi, this is Saturday. It is August 11th, apparently. Honestly, I lost track. It's been a crazy week. I've been working a lot. I actually didn't get home till almost 7:30 last night because I procrastinated on an assignment I had to do for school. And I ended up working late a little bit on Friday night anyway, so then I had to do my assignment after I finished work, and I don't have the software I need on my computer at home, so I had to stay at the office to do it. It was bleh. So I didn't get home till very late last night, and then I stayed up winding a lot of yarn. I put off casting on another reusable produce bag all week. I really wanted to make a few more, and I forced myself to wait, and as a result I had very little knitting mojo all week. I didn't touch my winter long. The only progress I made on the sock, you'll see it in a minute, not great. So lesson learned, knit what you want to knit, otherwise you're not going to want to knit. So I will be casting on some produce bags, but I do have a new cast on that I'm very excited about, and I'll tell you about in just a minute. So let's jump right into knitting. I don't have any finished objects. Apparently my streak is over of finishing 5 or 6 things a week. I have been working on 2 projects this week. So I've got Rob's 2018 socks, and it is here. If you'll remember last week, I was halfway through the heel flap. Sorry, I'm just going to put my extra needle down here. I was halfway through the heel flap. I was about here. So I got the rest of the heel flap done, the heel turn, and the gusset decreases. I did screw up at one point because I was knitting this at my friend Krystal's house. I did the decreases at her house, and at one point I must have skipped a row, and I know I did a decrease on one side and didn't do it on the other side because I had to even them up afterwards. And yeah, so apparently I can't do decreases while I'm chatting with people. Oh, hello. No, you'll have to come over here if you want to be picked up. She's standing on a chair just beyond the bookshelf next to me, so I can't reach you from over there. Sorry, you're too far away. They'll come over here. You don't need to watch me have a conversation with my cat. Anyway, this is my standard vanilla sock. I do a 3x2 rib for Rob because he likes how it hugs his leg, and then I do 20 back and forth rows for his heel flap. And so the decreases are there's usually an extra 22 stitches. Sorry, I keep sticking my middle finger out because that's the one that's handy. So it usually ends up picking up 22 stitches along the sides, so I end up having to decrease. I ended up with 22 stitches across the bottom. So I ended up having to decrease, I think it was 21 that I picked up, so I ended up having to decrease 11 times. Sorry, that was apparently too advanced math for my brain right now. I did end up with a little bit of heat stroke earlier. I spent most of the afternoon outside. It was fantastic, but it was very hot. So apparently my brain is incapable of mathing right now. So yeah, this is based on Stephanie Pearl McPhee's sock recipe, A Good Plain Sock, out of the Knitting Rules book. It's a great pattern. Well, it's a great sock recipe. Once you get the hang of it, you're not going to need a pattern anymore. I've knit probably 20 pairs of these without, not for Rob, but like 20 pairs of socks based on that recipe without needing a pattern. Sometimes I get to the heel turn and I'm like, I don't remember how to do this. Wait a minute, yes I do. And but it takes me a minute. And so, you know, if I knit socks on a regular basis, I don't forget it. But if I don't knit socks for a little while, I will forget how to do it, and it takes me a while to remember. And Sometimes I'll watch a video just to refresh myself. Like for the other thing I'm working on, I watched a video on how to do make one left and make one right increases. And I was a little puzzled because the only video I'd ever seen before was Kat Bordy's version of how to do it. And she doesn't do it the way other people do it. So anyway, I'll talk about that when I get to my next pattern. So this is made out of, because I'm just babbling at this point. Whee! I should take a break and have some tea. And these are gorgeous. I don't know if you can see the birds. There you go. They're little birds, and these are from IKEA. I have a teapot that matches that my friend Krystal bought me. So yes, this is made out of Bergère de France Luberon is the yarn, and the colorway is Eau Vive. That's a fairly accurate representation. It's a little, it looks a little more blue to me, but against my blue shirt, no, it doesn't. It's an aqua-y green, and that's pretty accurate. It's not too bad. There's a little bit of glare coming off the monitor, but it's not too bad. So that's a pretty accurate representation of the color, and I'm using my Carbons needles, which I adore. These I got from Stephanie at Stitchcraft Marketing, who is a good friend, and she had sent them to us for review a few years ago, and I adore them. They are the best needles. They're heavier than like stainless steel needles. I have some Haya Sharps that are lighter than this, but I really like these. They're sturdy. They're not they're a little grippier than stainless steel needles, but they're not like the blackthorn needles, which are straight carbon fiber. They're actually can't use the blackthorns. I feel awful because I really wanted some, and then the second I got a set, I took them out of the package and I was like, ooh, I can't touch those. The texture of them just set off my weirdo gene, and I couldn't do it. So I ended up giving them to a friend. And but I love my Carbons. They are smooth and they're lovely to knit with. The yarn, I'm not sure. Krystal, I think, described it best on Thursday when she said that it was a more rustic sock yarn. It's not scratchy, but it's not smooth. I'm not sure it's going to be a superwash. I don't think there was anything on the label about it being superwash, so I don't know that I would trust it in the washing machine. Rob hand washes his socks anyway. But it's not, I'm not sure I would knit with it again, to be honest. I bought it at a little shop in Saint-André-Avelin last year. That's where the Twist Fiber Festival is. I think the shop is called Chez Marjolaine, and I bought this on the way back from Twist. She was having a big sale. All her Bergère de France was on sale. And I picked up a skein to make me, a couple of skeins to make me socks, and I picked up 2 skeins to make Rob socks, hypothetically, if he liked the color. Turns out he does. Yay! So I picked them up at Chez Marjolaine last year in Saint-André-Avelin, which is just outside of Montebello, Quebec. And the one that I bought myself is their Gumi base, and I love it. It's beautiful. I've knit with it before because Selma made herself socks out of it. Selma of the Little Big Knits podcast had made herself some socks, and she gave me a mini, and so I've knit that mini into my blanket. I know I like that yarn. This one, I'm not sure. I'm undecided. So we'll see how I feel after I finish the socks. But right now, I don't particularly like it as a sock yarn. I'll be interested to see how it wears, because Rob is fairly hard on his socks. I've never had to repair one yet, but there's one of them you can see where it's thinning on the bottom. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll see if he likes them when he gets them in the fall. So that's, and I had this lady completely fascinated on the bus because I took them out of this thing. And apparently some not so recent knitters have no idea what these things are, and she thought it was the greatest invention in the world. So I showed her my lovely little DPN cozy. It's got 2 snaps. You put your DPNs in there, for those of you who have not seen these, and then you snap them closed, and it protects your knitting from falling off the needles. Keeps your needles in one place. They don't slide around. The knitting doesn't move on the needles. It's fantastic. If you've never seen one of these, you can find them on Etsy. They're all over the place. You can find loads of free patterns to sew your own if you're a sewist or a sewer or somebody who actually knows how to use a sewing machine. I'm not. I'm working on that. I'm planning to sign up for a sewing class very soon because I have some exciting news that I will share later. So that's my first work in progress. I just spent 10 minutes babbling about everything even remotely related to this sock. Take a breath, slow down. I also notice that when I'm more tired, I tend to talk faster, and I tend to sort of want to go faster and faster and faster as I go, and so it's a good thing for me to slow down a bit. We'll talk about the tea after the works in progress. So I'm actually going to put this back in the cozy because I'm not planning on working on that tonight. Other side. And I love the little pumpkins. Mandy knows I love pumpkins. Sorry, it's not focusing all that. There we go. Look at that. You can see the individual threads. New camera. Hooray! I'm enjoying this because I feel like it's easier to watch something when it's good picture quality and you're not like straining to see what's going on. So I apologize for the picture quality to this point. I'm still working on the lighting. Right now I have my desk lamp pointed at the wall in front of me. I'm working on it. We'll figure something out. For one thing, I'm trying to figure out whether it's better to record in the daytime or at night. So for now, I'm still experimenting. Be patient, please. The other thing, I had to wind the yarn last night. I wound this ball. Sorry, it's blowing it out a bit. And I wound this ball. And I wound this ball. Oops, that's the end. There you go. Yeah, the ends are white where they were tied on. Look at how well this thing focuses, though. Oh, come on, do it. There. I love it. Takes it a minute to get back, though. So I wound all three of those because I desperately wanted to cast this on. I didn't want to wait. I just wanted to get it started. It's upside down, obviously. I have cast on my Color Affection. I'm so excited. Where are my patterns? Here are my patterns. Sorry, I'll just dip into my folder here because I'm trying to get a little bit organized. So this is the Color Affection by Vera Valimaki. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm very sorry if I'm not. Vera designs some absolutely gorgeous shawls. This one became really popular about 5 or 6 years ago when it came out. There should be a date on here somewhere. Nope. Pattern copyright, no date. But that's okay. We know it was about 5 or 6 years ago. Because it was after we started the Two Tangled Skeins podcast, and that lasted 6 years. So it was about five-ish years ago, I think. So it became super, super popular. It's a 3-color shawl. They use short rows as a technique, and I really wanted to knit one back then. Bought the yarn to make one. Didn't love the colors I chose. I wasn't completely in love with it. So I waited, and I used the yarn for other things. And when I bought these 3 yarns last year from Night Owl Fibers, I had no intention of making a Color Affection with them. I just really liked the colors. But when they arrived and I saw them together, I was like, oh, yeah, that's going to be a Color Affection. So right now I'm kind of planning on this being my wedding shawl. We'll see if that works out. I'm going to try to find a teal fabric that matches the teal in this yarn. It's like there's a lot of glare coming off the monitor, so you're not seeing the colors properly. There's blue, there's orange, there's a little bit of green, but there's a lot of teal in this. That is just absolutely gorgeous. I want to try and find a fabric that matches the teal in this. And then it will be my wedding shawl, and it will be fantastic. So I cast that on last night. I got 5 pattern repeats in. My little walking stitch marker here is marking the right side. So I got 5 pattern repeats in. Sorry, my monitor is set to shut off after 15 minutes and it freaks me out every time. I plan on finishing the first section tonight if I can, and we'll see how it goes. I am doing the modification to make the cast-on edge, or the working edge, a little bit looser. I'm not sure how well it's working. I may have to do it on both sides instead of just the right side. But, so yeah, Krystal was telling me, yeah, you're going to want to do this to make your edge looser, because right now it's getting pretty tight. So I may start doing it on both sides and not just on the right side of the pattern increases, or the pattern repeats. So I'm planning on knitting on this a lot more tonight. It's my, it's become my sliders knitting, and I'm very much enjoying the pattern so far. I can't wait to join the second color in. This one is going to be the second one, because this yarn has pops of orange in it, and this one has pops of brown in it, so I think they're going to transition nicely into each other. I'm very excited about it. I've wanted one of these since I first saw the pattern, so I'm very excited and I love it. And it's easy. If you have not knit one of these, I highly recommend it. And I'm only 5 pattern repeats in. So, and I'm not following the pattern. I'm doing these on a size 4.5 millimeters, which is the US 7, because I didn't think I had a 6 long enough. It calls for a US 6. So I don't have one that it has a long enough cable, so I'm doing it on a 7, and I just figured that'll use up a little bit more of the yarn. The pattern calls for 380 yard skeins of fingering. These are 465, so, because Rachel is very generous with her skeins, 465 yards per 100 gram skein, and I think it's going to use up a little bit more of the yarn maybe, and I want a nice big cuddly shawl. So that's what I've been working on. That's all the knitting I've done. I feel kind of bad because I did want to work on my winter long, but it's been crazy hot. I haven't had the nerve to take it out of the bag because at this point it's getting long and it sits on my lap and I can't do it. It's just too hot. So that one has been on hold this week. If it cools down a bit this week, I may pull it out again, but unless it does cool down, I think it's going to wait a few weeks for the cooler weather. So one of the things I've done this week that was super exciting, I actually bought this tea today, so that's why I'm like, it's an unusual tea. My friend Sarah and I, Sarah, who is Rabbit Ribbit Lamb on Etsy and Ravelry, actually I think she's just Rabbit Ribbit on Ravelry, but we went to the Carp Garlic Festival today. Carp is a small town outside of Ottawa, and they have an annual garlic festival. There are a lot of garlic growers in the area. I read a statistic somewhere at one point that said that like most of the province of Ontario gets its garlic from our region. So I'm not sure if that's still true, but there are a lot of garlic farmers in the area. And there's a big competition every year at the garlic festival, and so we went today. They have face painting, they have people making animal balloons, or balloon animals, sorry, and it's at where they have their weekly farmers markets, so it's really quite a big deal. The farmers market is huge. I really should go more often because I love their farmers market, and it's quite the production. So we went and we had a great old time. First thing I picked up, because I'm a sucker, was some ginormous patty pan squash. Look at the size of these guys. I ended up getting, there were, in the basket I bought, there were 5, but they were all huge like this, so I left 2 of them behind for Sylvie and Sarah. Sorry for the plastic crinkling. I didn't have my produce bags with me because I wasn't thinking ahead. Look at the size of these guys. This guy is like, he's huge. And I'm very much looking forward to cooking them because I love these. Oh, no. So I have 2 yellow ones and a green one. They are the cutest things ever. I used to call them spaceship squash when I was little. I love these. So I'm very much looking forward to cooking something with those. I may do like baked with cheese on top or something like that. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Maybe with garlic and cheese. So I picked those up, and we went into this pottery booth, and I was just in love with the stuff she had, but I couldn't bring myself to spend that kind of money. I didn't have a lot of money to spend this week. Like none. After a year and a bit of working at my job, the pay office has finally started removing my pension contributions from my paycheck. So my paycheck this week was considerably smaller than I was anticipating, and so that left me not a lot of spending money this week, but that's okay. I was expecting it to happen eventually. Just, yeah, ouch. So the other thing I picked up was this fantastic tea. What did I do with the package after all that? I think I put it in the cupboard. It's in my kitchen cupboard. It's just a black bag with the name on it. It's no big deal. It is from Take Charge, which is a local tea company. She is at the farmers market every Saturday, so if you're local to Ottawa, go check her out. She's there every week. It's takechargetea.com, and this one is chaga with cocoa nibs. I had never heard of chaga before. Apparently it is a fungus that grows on birch trees, and apparently it's supposed to be healthy and wonderful, and it tastes pretty good. Wouldn't have thought I would have liked mushroom tea, but there we are. She blends it with cocoa nibs to improve the flavor a bit, but honestly the tea tastes mapley. Like, not cloyingly so, it's not sweet, but it has sort of like a maple earthy flavor to it. It's delicious. And a little goes a long way, because 1 tablespoon does 2 cups of tea, and you can reuse it. I'm not planning on reusing it because I'm a snob that way. I like my tea fresh. So the little bag, the bag was about this big. Sorry. The bag was about that big. And it was a little pricier. It was $20 for the bag, but I mean, a tablespoon makes tea for 2 people. That's pretty good. And you can steep it, she recommends steeping it from anywhere from 20 minutes to 12 hours. It was very good hot, because she had hot samples. She had a carafe, and she was handing out little samples of hot tea. I made this about an hour ago. It is excellent cold, like really, really good. So I would highly recommend checking that out. There's a little disclaimer, there's a little woo on the back of the package. She actually puts a little Ziploc bag with crystals in the bag with the tea. And it says that the clear quartz crystal in your bag of tea has been charged with it, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I'm not going to disparage other people's beliefs. If you believe that, great. I prefer less woo with my tea. But I'm not going to say it's woo. If you believe in it, it may have a placebo sort of effect on you, and that's great. I thought the tea was super tasty, and I would have bought it regardless. So I just wasn't expecting it when I got home and read the back of the package and went, oh, this tea is supposed to heal me and make all my problems go away, apparently. But anyway, I gave the little crystal to my friend Sylvie because she collects them. And like, she has a whole bunch of large crystals. She uses them as sort of an art installation in her house. So she added that to her crystal collection. And the tea is lovely. It is absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend checking out the website, whether or not you are into the whole healing crystals thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to make it sound like, oh my god, I got tea with crystals in it. It was just unexpected. Thankfully, it was in a little Ziploc bag, because I probably would have been a little weirded out if there were just crystals loose in my tea. That would have been a little weird and unsanitary. So, very, very good tea. I highly recommend it. It's a very mellow flavor. It's fantastic. I really like the flavor, and I'm glad I bought it. I also have a big box from David's Tea sitting at my mom's house right now because I have no control when it comes to tea. They were having a big sale, and they were, if you spent a certain amount, you would get a 10th anniversary tea tumbler. So I'm a sucker. Went and got my tea tumbler. I will pick that up for my mom's tomorrow, and I will have some new teas to show you next week. The only other thing I picked up at the Carp Garlic Festival, there was a lady with a table, and these got moved around a little bit, so they're not going to look as pretty. There was a lady selling Syrian desserts. Oh my. So these are coming to my mom's house with me tomorrow to share with my family, because obviously I'm not going to eat these, but they look so good. These are almond honey cakes. And this is some kind of coconut square. I have no idea, but I've had them before and they're delicious. I just don't know what they're called. So she was at a table and she had all these desserts laid out in little tubs like this, and I was like, oh, come home to mama. So I was very happy. Hopefully my family will be very happy tomorrow when they get to eat. Because Sundays we always go to dinner at my mom's house, so hopefully everybody will be happy with those. I was going to buy a mug. I ran out of money. I did not have a lot of money to start the day with, so I spent what I had, and that was that. She's being lazy. She's not going to come over and say hi to you guys today. She's just rolling around on that chair over there. What you doing? Your hair's stuck in your mouth, dum-dum. Yeah. She's a long-haired cat, so a lot of the times when she's trying to clean herself, the hair here will get stuck in her mouth, and she has trouble like trying to pull it out of her mouth. Not the brightest cat, but she's a sweetie. So I tried another keto recipe this week from one of the blogs I follow. I made some Filipino chicken adobo, and it was so good. It's made in the Instant Pot, so it doesn't get super crispy itself. You have to then put it in the oven on broil for a minute or two, or 5 as it turned out, to get the skin a little bit crispier. I did modify a few things in the recipe. I used coconut aminos instead of soy sauce because I didn't have any soy sauce in the house, and I did happen to have a bottle of coconut aminos from Trader Joe's. And I used cider vinegar instead of white vinegar at the suggestion of a friend of mine who is Filipino. She said you'll enjoy the flavor more with cider vinegar. So this is a very, very simple recipe. There's only a handful of ingredients. You marinate the chicken and the ingredients in the fridge for half an hour, and then you pop them in the Instant Pot, and it's done in like 8 minutes. Well, it takes 10 minutes to come to pressure, and then you have to wait 10 minutes after to let it, and then you flip the pressure release. But like, honestly, I had dinner on the table in less than half an hour, and this was so good. My daughter wasn't crazy about it because of the strong vinegar flavor. It makes the chicken so tender and so delicious. I loved it. She also doesn't tend to like bay leaves, and this has bay leaf in it, so yeah, whatever. Your mileage may vary. I got it off the Two Sleevers website, so it's www.twosleevers.com. She's one of my favorite recipe blogs. And so I made that this week, and I really liked it, and I thought I would let you know. Podcasts. As I mentioned in the last couple of episodes, I've been catching up with my friend Selma at Little Big Knits. She was on hiatus for a little while. I think it was a couple of months, and because she's had a really god-awful summer. But she posted a new episode on Thursday, I think? Wednesday or Thursday. So if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. It is definitely worth a watch. It's a little bit longer, but she's been away for a really long time. So I really enjoyed it. I loved the little videos at the end that she posted. And she's just a very relaxing podcast to watch. I find her very knowledgeable and very relaxing to watch. So go check out Selma on the Little Big Knits podcast. Other people who have new episodes out, my friend Jess, who is Sarah Novacraft's podcast, has a new episode out that she recorded, I think, yesterday. It's a little shorty one. She talks about the Sailor Moon movies that she went to see, the one that's currently in the theaters. So she's got a new episode out. And my lovely friend Kate of Hawthorne Cottage Crafts has a new episode out that I think you guys would really enjoy. So go check out Hawthorne Cottage Crafts. Right now, I am looking forward to the Twist Fiber Festival, which is next weekend. Yay! I'm not really planning on buying any yarn. I'm just going to go and enjoy myself and see some of my friends. I'm going with my friend Elizabeth, possibly also Krystal. We'll see how it goes. Elizabeth's little guy is really sick right now, so she might not be able to go, but we'll see. Right now the plan is for her to come with me. Sorry, just I got very hot today and sweaty, so my hair is like all over the place, and it's bugging my neck to have my hair all frizzy and stuff. So yeah, next weekend is Twist. If you've never been, I would highly recommend it. It's a small festival, but it's really a lot of fun. And my friend Natalie Servant, who is a local designer and teacher, is teaching a whole slew of classes there next week. She is a great teacher. There's still a lot of room, well, not a lot of room, but there's still room left in several of the classes. Most of the more popular ones are sold out, but if you go check their website, I don't remember what their website is, that was stupid of me, but look up Twist Fiber Festival and you'll find it. There are several of their classes that still have a little bit of room in them. Natalie is teaching several. Hers are in English. Some of the classes are in French and some are bilingual, so check out their website, see what they've got to offer. This year it looks like they're planning on having a larger food court. There's a brewery that's going to be involved. I'm really looking forward to going. It's always a good time, and it's a good place to spend an afternoon. It's a lovely little town. We love the restaurants and shops around there. There is Chez Marjolaine Yarn Shop that doesn't have a booth at the festival, but you drive by it on the way in and out of town, and she's always having a big sale during Twist, so it's worth a little stop by. And we're also very, very much looking forward to Rhinebeck. We're starting to plan and get things together, so we're all very excited. I have my usual cabin in Phoenicia, and my friends have all also managed to get cabins in that area, so it's going to be so much fun. I look forward to Rhinebeck basically from November to the time when it happens in late October every year. I take a couple of weeks after I get home to decompress, and then I'm ready to go back. I love the whole area. It's not too far from Woodstock, New York, and we usually spend an afternoon or an evening in Rhinebeck, in Woodstock rather, just exploring the town, visiting all the little shops. There's a restaurant we love to eat at there, and and our cabins are only about 20 minutes away from Woodstock, so it's a lot of fun. We usually have a big gang that goes together, and last year we had tea parties every night in the cabin, and we all just sat around and knit together. It was great. So I'm very much looking forward to that again. A couple of people have asked me if I'm planning on going to India Untangled. No. I'm concerned at the fact that the organizers and the hotel don't feel the need to control the number of people walking in and out of there. Last year it was unpleasant. First of all, just trying to find a place to park was awful. We arrived, I think, around 6 or 7 in the evening. It goes from like 5 to 8, I think, or 5 to 9. We arrived around 6 or 7 last year, and the parking lot was packed. There were people parked a mile down the road. We did manage to find a parking space in the parking lot. Almost got into an altercation with somebody because they had been sitting there waiting, but it looked like their car was parked, so we didn't know, and we went around them. And it was so crowded you couldn't get into the booths. People were shoving each other. They were like, it was getting nasty. It was not a pleasant time, so I don't plan on going back. If they ever move to a larger venue or start controlling the number of people who go in at a time, I may think about going back. Needles Up, which is the other event that takes place the Friday night before Rhinebeck, they do control how many people go in at a time, but again, like having to wait outside in a group to be allowed to go in and shop doesn't really appeal to me. I'll save my shopping for Rhinebeck. It's more that it's a long drive. I'm the one who does all the driving in our group, so by the time we get there, I just want to go to the cabin and relax. I don't want to go to a big event and be jostled by a bunch of people and spend all the money that I had put aside for Rhinebeck. So for me, it's just not my thing. I know a lot of the others in our group really enjoy it, so they may be going, and I'm not going to tell you not to go. I'm saying for myself, it's a little too packed in. And I go to Rhinebeck for Rhinebeck. I don't go for the side events that happen. A lot of people really enjoy it, clearly because the place was packed. And I know there are some vendors who go to India Entangled and Needles Up who don't have booths at Rhinebeck, so it's really worth it for that. I know that last year Vine had a booth at India Entangled, did not have one at Rhinebeck, and so if you wanted Vine, you had to go to India Entangled, and I think she cleaned out, like there barely anything left when we went. So I think she did really well. There are other dyers who would be at those two venues but wouldn't be at Rhinebeck. So if you're looking for those, definitely look them up, see what vendors are at which events, and if it's something you want, then definitely go. Needles Up has a VIP event from 12 to 1 that they sell tickets for. So it's a little more exclusive, it's a lot less crowded, and if you really want to go to Needles Up but don't want the crowds, I would recommend buying the tickets. My friend Holly and her group have bought tickets for it. So they're leaving at ridiculous o'clock in the morning. She was saying, yeah, not everybody's thrilled that we're leaving at 5 a.m., but hey, they can have naps in the car, because she's the one who drives. So they're going to Needles Up, and they're very much looking forward to it. I just want to, eat and go crash at the cabin. They're also staying in Kingston this year, so they're closer to the venue. For us, it's still another 30-40 minutes to the cabin. So that's one of the main reasons that I don't want to go, is because after we go to India Entangled or Needles Up, then I still have to drive all the way back to the cabin. I'm lazy. What can I say? I'm lazy and I don't like crowds. So I'm very much looking forward to Rhinebeck. I just wanted to talk a little bit about it because it's Rhinebeck. If you've never gotten to go, even if it's a once in a lifetime thing for you, do it once. It is totally worth it. And if you don't like crowds, go on Sunday because the crowds are slightly less hectic and crowdy. So the only other thing that I had to talk about this week, and I keep looking down at my show notes, and I really should post them up here so I'm not looking down all the time. I got to hang out with my friend Krystal on Thursday. I don't get to see Krystal very often because she has a little guy and she lives pretty far away. It's about 40 minutes from here. It's not far. Like, I drive to Toronto to see friends, so driving to Barrhaven is not a big deal. So she lives in this neighborhood called Bridalwood, which is all gorgeous, beautiful houses and yards, and I will show you a video at the end of this that I took of her backyard. I've been encouraging people to post in the Places You Can Knit thread. I wanted to post a picture of me knitting in Krystal's backyard, so I was like, Places You Can Knit, but I'm like, no, a picture is not going to do this justice. You guys need to see her backyard. So I took a little video, and she was like, you're so funny, and I'm like, but it's a gorgeous backyard. It's fantastic. So I took a little video of her backyard, and she thought it was funny. So you'll see that at the end. I don't really have much else to talk about. I hope you guys enjoy the new camera. I hope it improved things quite a bit. I see it as a lot clearer on the screen. Of course, now you can see more of my mess back there. Fortunately, you can't see how much cat hair is on those curtains. My cats like to sit in that window until the neighbor's kids come and bang on the window to get their attention. But the other side of the curtains is just covered in cat hair. That's going to be one of those things that I'm going to have to take the gleaner to when we move. So, sorry you didn't get to see a kitty this weekend. She's still crashed out on the chair. She's being a lazy butt. So, I hope everybody has a fantastic week, and I can't wait to see you next weekend. Post-twist. No, maybe pre-twist. I don't know, because I'm going on Sunday. We'll have to decide. I'll have to decide if I'm recording on Saturday or Sunday. So have a great week and keep your sticks pointy. Bye. Ah, I can't get to the stop button. Silly mouse.
So, places you can knit. Picture wasn't going to do this justice.
Oh, like the...
This is Krystal's little oasis in her backyard. Hello.
Hello.